You've been asking this question for so long now, haven't you? Whispered it into the quiet, cried it through clenched teeth, murmured it while staring at the ceiling in the middle of the night. Why don't you answer me? God, where are you? And beneath the question, there's another one you barely dare to speak. Do you even care? I have seen the ache behind your words, the way you reach out, not with your hands, but with your heart tired, trembling, and unsure if anyone's on the other side. I have heard the prayers you don't even know how to say anymore, the ones that sound like silence, but carry all the weight of your soul. You've waited for me to respond, to show up, to break the silence with a sign, something undeniable. You've looked for me in the open sky, in the turning of your circumstances, in the faces around you. But nothing moved, nothing changed. And you wondered, am I not worthy of an answer? You are not alone in that wondering. Even those closest to me, those you've read about in stories passed down through generations, asked me the same. David, the man after my own heart, cried out in his darkest moments, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" And my own son, hanging between heaven and earth, broken and bleeding, uttered the same words. So no, your pain is not foreign to me. When you sit in your car after a long day, hands on the wheel, and feel the weight of the world pressing down, when you lie awake at night with your thoughts spiraling into fear, when you hold back tears so no one sees how fragile you've become, I am there. You don't have to pretend in front of me. Not the smile, not the strength, not the logic that says, I'm fine. I already know. I knew when you were too exhausted to pray. I knew when you wanted to scream instead. I knew when you began to wonder if talking to me even mattered anymore. And still, I stayed. You see, my beloved, I've never required perfect faith from you. I only asked for realness. And you, yes, you have been real with me. Every sigh, every moment you said, I can't do this anymore. Every small act of showing up again. I received all of it as worship. So come, sit with me now. Don't run. Don't shrink. Just breathe and let me begin to speak to what you haven't been able to name aloud. Let me hold the part of you that no one sees, the part that still waits, still hopes, and still aches for something only I can give. I see how heavy your heart has become. The weight of waiting has pressed into your soul like a stone that won't move, no matter how much you push or pray. You've grown quiet, not because you've stopped believing, but because it hurts too much to keep asking without hearing anything back. And I understand. More deeply than you know, I understand. You wanted me to come quickly. You asked with sincerity, with tears, with the little bit of strength you had left. You were not selfish in your requests. You asked for healing, for peace, for clarity, for someone you loved to be okay. And when the silence stretched out, when the days passed and nothing shifted, something inside you began to wilt. It felt like abandonment, like you had been forgotten. But I did not forget you. No, my child. I have not forgotten a single word that left your lips, even the ones that came out as sobs, even the ones that never made it into language but lived only as ache in your chest. I know how you've watched others receive what they prayed for, how you celebrated with them on the outside but felt a sting of confusion deep within. Why them and not me? What am I doing wrong? Hear me now. You're not being punished. You're not overlooked. You're not less than the ones who seem to receive their answers. The story I am writing with your life is not delayed. It is being written with eternal precision. But I know that doesn't make the waiting easier. That's why I sit with you in it. Your pain does not offend me. Your confusion does not push me away. I do not grow tired of your questions. I do not turn my face from your weariness. In fact, I draw closer. I lean in. I listen to the pauses between your words because I know that's where the deepest truths live. When your prayers turn into sighs and your hope thins into a thread, I hold that thread gently, never letting it snap. You may not realize it, but the very fact that you still long for my voice, that you still wonder where I am, is a sign that your spirit is alive, tender, and still tethered to me. You think you are distant, but I see you clinging quietly, invisibly, but faithfully. Do not let the silence lie to you. Do not let it tell you that I am gone or that I do not care. My silence is not a void. It is not a punishment. Sometimes my silence is the language of trust, an invitation into deeper faith, where feelings don't always align with truth, but truth still holds firm, and the truth is this. I have never left, not for a moment. Not even when you stopped believing that I was listening, not even when your prayers became numb. I was there when you broke down. I was there when you got back up. I am here now, listening still. Not because you've said the right words, but because I love you with a love that listens before you speak. There is something sacred happening in the silence, even though you can't feel it. I know how much you want me to speak out loud, how much you long for a clear sign, a divine interruption, something that pierces through the stillness and reassures you, I'm here, and everything will be all right. But my ways are not always your ways. And the way I work, the way I shape hearts and write stories, it often happens in silence. You see, when I am silent, I am not absent. I am building something in the deep soil of your soul, something that cannot be rushed. There are lessons you can only learn in the quiet. There is a kind of strength that is only born in stillness, a kind of trust that blooms not when everything is loud and obvious, but when everything seems empty, and yet, you stay. That kind of faith is precious to me. Sometimes the silence is not a no. It's not rejection. It's not even delay. It is the pause before the unfolding, the space in which I prepare you for what's next. You ask me why I'm not answering, and yet, in the same breath, you ask for wisdom, for maturity, for faith that stands unshaken. Do you know where those things are born? In the space where you can't see, can't hear, but still choose to trust. I am not cruel, and I do not withhold out of indifference. My silence is not a punishment, it is a preparation. There are things I am protecting you from, things you cannot yet see. There are things I'm aligning on your behalf, threads being woven that reach far beyond your moment of waiting. You are looking for an answer, but I am forming a future. If I had answered you the moment you asked, you might have missed the depth I was preparing in you. You might have settled for a quick fix, when what I wanted to give you was lasting transformation. I see what you cannot. I see not just the desire of your heart, but the journey your soul must walk to become who you were created to be. I know this is not the answer you hoped for. I know it doesn't remove the ache, but let it reassure you. My silence is not the end of the story. It's a chapter, and it's not wasted. I am closer than you think. I am not just standing beside you, I am moving within you, shaping, healing, and making space for more of me. You asked for answers, and instead I gave you presence. And in the long run, that presence will carry you farther than any quick reply ever could. So don't fear the silence. It is not empty. It is full of me, and I am full of love for you. You've spent so much time wondering what you did wrong. You've gone over every choice, every prayer, every mistake, trying to figure out where you failed, what you missed, why I would turn away. You've blamed yourself, haven't you? You've assumed that my silence must mean my disappointment, that I must be distant because you weren't good enough, faithful enough, pure enough. But listen to me closely now. That voice of shame, that whisper telling you you're not worthy of love, not deserving of answers, not good enough for grace, that voice is not mine. I don't measure your worth by how perfectly you perform. I never have. You don't have to earn my nearness with flawless prayers or a spotless past. I knew your weaknesses before you even spoke your first word. I knew the battles you'd face, the wounds you'd carry, the failures that would shake you, and still I chose you. Still I loved you. My love is not conditional. It does not rise and fall with your performance. It doesn't grow cold when you doubt or hesitate or feel lost. I don't pull away when you struggle. I draw closer. I am not here because you got everything right. I am here because you are mine. I know you've made mistakes. I know you carry regrets, some so heavy you barely speak of them out loud. But I want you to know this. There is nothing you've done that disqualifies you from my presence. There is no failure too great that I cannot redeem. I am not keeping score, I am keeping you. Let go of the guilt that says you've fallen too far. Let go of the fear that says you're no longer lovable. There is nothing you can do to lose what I freely give. My mercy is deeper than your shame. My grace is wider than your past. My voice has not been silent because of your flaws. It has been waiting for the moment when your heart could hear me without the noise of condemnation. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are still the one I love, still the one I call, still the one I am reaching for in the silence. So come to me as you're not as you think you should be. Come with your doubt, your weariness, your ache. Come with your guilt, your questions, your honesty. I will not reject you. I never have. I never will. You are my child, and I will always come running when you turn toward me, even if all you can do is whisper, "Help me." I don't know where you are. Even then, I am already by your side. Even now, I am holding you close. There have been moments, quiet ones, small ones that you may not have recognized as me, but I was there. I know you were expecting something bigger, something unmistakable, something that would break through the noise and leave no room for doubt. You wanted a miracle, a flash of clarity, a voice like thunder. But instead, I came in the stillness, in a breath you didn't know you needed, in a moment that passed so quickly you thought it meant nothing. Do you remember that time when you felt suddenly calm for no reason, just as your thoughts were spinning out of control? That wasn't random. That was me. Or the night someone reached out unexpectedly with just the words you needed to hear. That was not coincidence. That was my whisper through another soul. I have spoken through sunsets, through songs, through silence. I have reached you through laughter you didn't expect, through a gentle breeze that made you pause, through tears that softened your heart when nothing else could. Not every answer wears a label. Not every touch of my hand feels like a miracle. But I've been speaking in ways your spirit understands, even when your mind does not. I know you've looked for signs, you've begged for clarity. And when none came the way you imagined, you assumed I hadn't answered. But my answers are not always loud. They are not always what you expect. Sometimes they are hidden in the ordinary, in the moments between the asking and the understanding. I sent peace to carry you when strength failed. I sent people to walk with you when you thought no one could understand. I sent little reminders of beauty, soft, simple, sacred, to tell you I had not forgotten. I sent breath into your lungs this morning. I gave you the strength to get up, even when your heart felt heavy. You're here now, still listening, still seeking. That too is grace. You haven't missed me. You haven't failed to hear. It's just that my voice doesn't always sound like your expectations. It sounds like stillness when you want noise. Like a closed door that protected you. Like the delay that kept you safe. Like the patience that molded your soul when you thought nothing was happening at all. If you look back, truly look back, you'll begin to see the thread I've woven through your story. The times I rescued you quietly. The moments I held you through someone else's arms. The ways I answered your prayers, not with what you wanted, but with what would last. I am not far. I am not silent. I've been answering you in every heartbeat, in every sunrise, in every breath that carried you forward, even when you didn't know it was me. And if you listen not just with your ears, but with your soul, you'll realize. I've been speaking all along. Waiting is one of the hardest things I ask of you, I know. You live in a world that moves fast, that measures worth by productivity and progress. You're taught that if something isn't happening right now, then it's not happening at all. But I don't work by those timelines. I am not bound by hours or days. I move with eternity in mind, and I shape your life with a love that sees far beyond this moment. I know you grow weary in the waiting. I see you pacing in your thoughts, wondering how long you're supposed to hold on. I hear the quiet cries of your heart saying, "I'm trying, but it's getting harder." I see the way you keep showing up, maybe not with strength, but with a kind of sacred endurance. You may not realize it, but there is beauty in that kind of faith. The kind that stays even when answers don't come. The kind that says, "I still believe, even if I don't feel it today." Waiting is not wasted time. It's not a pause in your story. It's part of your becoming. In the waiting, I am stretching your trust. I'm softening the parts of you that fear surrender. I'm gently, patiently forming in you a heart that leans on me. Not because it gets what it wants, but because it knows who I am. I've seen the seasons when it felt like nothing was happening, like your prayers were hitting a wall, like your life was standing still. But beneath the surface, I was working. Like roots growing in the dark, I was strengthening you from within. Not everything I do is visible. Not everything I prepare makes sense right away. But I have never wasted a moment of your pain. I have never let a single tear fall without purpose. If I ask you to wait, it's not because I enjoy seeing you suffer. It's because there is something more I want to give you than a quick resolution. I want to give you peace that isn't shaken by circumstances. I want to give you joy that doesn't disappear when life is hard. I want to give you a trust that grows even in the silence. And so I ask you now, not for perfection, not for performance, but for presence. Stay with me. Walk with me in the not yet. Bring me your impatience, your frustration, your aching need for answers. You don't have to wait perfectly, you just have to wait with me. Let me hold your hand in the unknown. Let me be enough for you here before anything changes. Because this moment, right here, is not just a waiting room, it is sacred ground. And your willingness to remain your choice to trust when nothing makes sense is worship that reaches my heart more deeply than you know. You're not stuck. You're not forgotten. You're being formed. And one day when you look back on this stretch of silence, you'll see that it was not a pause, it was the place where your roots grew deep and your faith became unshakable. And in that soil of waiting, something beautiful is already beginning to bloom. And now here you are, still listening, still holding on. That in itself is a quiet miracle. I know you came here looking for answers, maybe even hoping for something to finally make the waiting make sense. And while I may not give you everything you asked for today, I give you something more, my presence, my heart, and my promise. I promise that you are not alone. I promise that every tear you've cried has been caught in my hands. I promise that the aching places inside you are not forgotten corners, but sacred spaces where I am building something eternal. I promise that even when you can't feel me, I am moving. Even when you can't hear me, I am near. The answers you long for, some will come in time, some you will not understand until much later, and some you may never need, because the peace I give will settle the storm long before the questions are resolved. I do not promise a life without pain, but I promise a love that never leaves, a light that never fades, a hand that never lets go. What you think is the end may only be a bend in the road. What feels like silence may be the echo of a greater story unfolding. I am not done with you. I am not done with the prayers you've prayed, or the healing you've hoped for, or the dreams you thought had died. I am breathing life into the places you thought were beyond saving. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are held by a love deeper than every fear, every failure, every silence. You are part of something holy, something far more beautiful than you can yet imagine. So rest, my beloved, rest in the knowledge that I am not distant. I am not late. I am not indifferent. I am here. I always have been, and I always will be. Wait a little longer. Trust a little deeper. Let hope rise again, not because you see the way, but because you know the one who walks it with you. And when the answer comes, and it will come, you will look back and see that I was never silent. I was singing over you in whispers. I was working in your waiting. I was loving you in ways beyond your understanding. You are safe, you are seen, and you are still mine. Amen.